let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at race number 10 at Churchill Downs on Stephen Foster's Saturday. Let's throw up the field for one of my favorite races, the Grade 2 Wise Dan. And yes, there was also a nice horse named Wise Dan, but I'm not sure it was named after him. The 3 Some Like It Hot Brown is 2-1 on the morning line, Mike. Some Like It Hot Brown is a very good New York bred coming off of a win in the dinner party. His best asset is his speed. Jose Ortiz is likely to use it.
Yeah, they should be using it in here. He's not the favorite on the morning line, Dan. I do think he's the horse to beat in this race, though it's pretty close between him and the 1.
Different running styles between Some Like It Hot Brown and Set Piece. Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector so you can see what I'm talking about. Some Like It Hot Brown likes to be forward. That blue bar scenario is very good for him in a race that could favor horses on or near the early lead. Set Piece is more of a one-run closer, and he's a bit pace dependent, but boy, he won last time out like breaking sticks. Now, he got a setup against a weaker field. That was a morning breeze.
Yeah, won that race very easily last time as the favorite. You're right, though. It wasn't much of a field there. After getting bumped at the start, he got a great trip in that race and just won it very, very convincingly. That's 2 wins in a row for him now. He always felt like, Dan, he had a lot of potential and that he was going to be a graded stakes horse on turf over here, and maybe he will be going forward.
And it's all about whether he gets the setup. He's 8-5 on the morning line, but he does have figures, and it was visually impressive last time. The 2 is Mutakatif. This horse came to North America for Chad Brown, and he showed a bit of ability, but then he went to the sidelines for a very long time. Last time out, first start off with a long layoff. He probably needed it, and he also pushed a fast pace. He didn't really have a very comfortable trip in that race. This is a tough spot, but I'd like to see this horse get back into form.
I would too. We'll see what he can wind up doing in here. Boy, even if you want to make excuses for his return from the layoff last time, and you can make excuses for it, Dan, it still feels like, they could have maybe found a little bit of an easier spot for him for a second start back.
The number 3, Some Like It Hot Brown. Let's watch his last race, the Grade 2 Dinner Party. On Preakness weekend at Pimlico, and he got right up close to a pretty moderate pace in here. He's very game in the stretch. My one concern with Some Like It Hot Brown is that this race just didn't seem strong on paper. It hasn't come back very strong just yet. He actually might be facing a better bunch at Churchill on Saturday.
He probably is facing a better field here, and you can see the pack all chasing him home behind him, Dan. It's a pretty bunched up finish behind this horse. That being said, the race was really never in any kind of doubt in there. He got a good trip. He took it over when he was ready. And even though they were coming after him in the stretch, they were never catching this horse. He was much the best in there. And he's got faster races in his past. They've been doing a lot of breaking with this horse and then letting somebody else go and try to sit off. If I was Jose Ortiz in this race, I would put this horse right on the front and not let anybody get anywhere near me early.
Couldn't agree with you more, because we saw how that style works for him, and it works very well. The Bernard Baruch was his signature performance in the summer of 2020, where he just took advantage of the race flow that day and was able to kick strongly on home. I agree with your take in the open. He's the horse to beat. Super Saul is the number 4. Hey, this horse scored at 44-1 last time out. He got a beautiful setup from a pace standpoint. He got a 93 buyer. I'm kind of thinking it was a pace 8 at 93, but he deserves a shot against these horses.
Yeah, they're going to step him up now. That was the first time he ever ran on turf as a 6-year-old, and it's the best race he's ever run in his life. So I'm not surprised that they're going to take a step up in class with him here, but he better run better than that.
Here's Hierarchy, the number 5. He looked good, I thought, in his first start of the year for trainer Joe Sharp. This horse has done some good things. I think the question has always been, is he really a stakes horse? Is he really a graded stakes kind of horse? But it was nice to see him get on the beam with a good setup at Churchill over wet going.
I agree with that. I've never thought he was a stakes horse, Dan. He's very consistent. He can get any kind of a trip in a race. So there are things to like about him. I just have never believed he's this good.
Vicky Oliver is a very consistent horse in the underrated number 6, Kentucky Ghost. We're going to take a look at his race 2 starts back, where he just misses by a nose at Keeneland. He rebounded off of that race with a victory and was flattered when the third place horse came back to go through his 2 other than condition with a 93 buyer speed figure. I like this horse's tactical speed and versatility. We'll see how he handles the hop into the stakes ranks for the first time.
Yeah, step up in class for this horse. I do think he has the potential to run in races like this, though, Dan. We'll see if it's a little too soon for him. His first 3 races so far as a 4-year-old, much improved from the races he was running last year. That's for sure. I mean, he looked good winning off the layoff. The race that we just watched there at Keeneland, everything worked out pretty well for him, but he had to come through on the inside. He just missed. I liked his win last time. He got the right trip in there. He won that thing under strong handling at the end. I think this horse is still improving.
Both the 7 and the 8 are very dangerous and logical contenders in here. We'll start with Ride a Comet. Mark Cassie's done a super job with this horse. He won the Del Mar Derby in 2018. He then bounced back off of a 2-year layoff to win 3 races in a row, 2 of the graded variety, second in the Makers 46, 2 starts back. And last time out in the Turf Classic, he was just in against the best turf horses in the country. Domestic spending, a smooth like straight, came back to win the Shoemaker Mile with a 102 buyer. He's a factor.
Yeah, he's a factor in here. I still like him a little better in shorter races, Dan, but he can certainly go with a field like this one. We'll see what kind of trip he gets. I don't know. They like to take him back and kind of make, one late run with him, which is what happened 2 back in the Makers 46. It had the big pace there. He just sort of sucked up and got second. So I'm not really believing that big 103 buyer he ran that day. We'll see. I would like him a little bit better if this was a shorter race.
Third off the bench for Field Pass. This is a pretty consistent horse. It doesn't matter whether it's synthetic or turf. He can go to the lead. He can sit off the pace. And I just thought he was pace compromised last time out in the Man o' War. It was a wet turf course. He tried to go very fast on the lead, and he paid the price.
Yeah, that's true. I could go either way on this horse. I actually feel like you could make the argument he's been pace compromised in both starts so far this year. The Makers Mile was that really fast pace, and he was close to it. The Man o' War was also a fast pace for that distance, and he was close to it. So we'll see if he can work out a better trip here. I'm not, completely sold on this horse yet, but I think there's a real chance he's improved quite a bit as a 4-year-old.
Gufo, the runner-up from that race, came back to run third in the Grade 1 Manhattan 100 buyer speed figure. Spooky Channel, the number 9. This is a multiple graded stakes winner. He was claimed for $80,000 2 starts back, and they ran along 1.5 miles against Arklow in the Louisville. It was a performance where, again, he didn't have the greatest trip in the world. He does have races. I've never been his biggest fan, but he's going to be a price.
He's going to be a price. He has a race that would put him squarely in the mix against this field if he can work out the right kind of trip. He's just an underrated horse, Dan, who's probably going to get overlooked in here.
In Love is the number 10, and we're going to watch In Love's performance at Keeneland from last fall, where he came from way off of the pace to get through his non-winners of One Other Than condition. He just missed a Kentucky Ghost last time out, and I watched that race, Mike. Maybe the 1 1/8 was a little bit far. I know he was able to run that distance at Argentina, but he had a gigantic look at that race in the stretch, and I think you could make the stand that he was a little disappointed he didn't finish off Kentucky Ghost.
I think that's a valid way to look at it. I personally wanted Kentucky Ghost back out of that race. But this horse, ran fine in there. It was second off the layoff. And maybe you're right. Maybe the 1 1/8 isn't what he really wants.
Wise Dan Stakes, Grade 2. Let's take a look at our top picks at Churchill on Saturday. It's going to be interesting. Some like it Hot Brown, expected to go to the front. Set Piece coming from off. And I just like the way Set Piece won last time out. I don't like the fact that Set Piece is going to be a relatively short price in here. Yeah. You like Kentucky Ghost. I think this horse has upside, and he's going to be a great price on the tote.
Yeah, that's why I took it. He's going to be a great price. I do like his last 3 races quite a bit and think he has forward to go. And listen, as much as, Set Piece and Some Like It Hot Brown are the 2 horses to beat, I'm not terrified of those 2 horses. I'm going to use the 6 with them and see if I can get him in there somewhere.
6, 3, 1, and 8 for Mike. Going for value with Kentucky Ghost. 1, 10, 6, 4 for me in the Grade 2 Wise Dan on Stephen Foster Saturday. Good luck.